Hi, second graders. So last on Monday, you guys learned the three different types of communities. We have urban communities, we have suburban communities, and we have rural communities. Today, we are going to focus on just one of them, and it will be introduced by a letter. So I will be reading to you that letter, but before we read it, you guys need to have your papers ready so that they can show you can take notes of the different things that are in this type of community that we're doing. So we are going to be learning about urban communities. I want you to go ahead and get a piece of paper, and on your piece of paper, I want you to write the word urban. So here is the word urban. I want you to write it on your piece of paper. I hope you wrote the word urban on your piece of paper. Now, I want you to look at my drawing and I want you to kind of do something like it, okay? So what I did is I made one big box right here, okay? And I stopped a little bit in the middle. Then I made a second box that was a little bit shorter. And then I made one box in the middle of those two. And it's like apartment buildings, right? Tall apartment buildings. This is going to be important for our urban communities, okay? So try to make your drawing look something like mine. And then these little boxes are supposed to be like windows. So go ahead and do that, but leave this one. See how I didn't put any windows in the middle one? Because this is where we're going to take our notes. So I want you to draw something like this. Do your best. If it's not perfect, it's okay. We just want a place to write down some information about our urban communities. Okay, I hope you stopped the video. If you haven't, stop the video now and make sure your paper looks like mine. At this point, everyone should have a paper that looks kind of like this. All right, now I'm going to show you the letter from a girl who is in an urban community, and she's going to teach us a little bit about the urban community. As we are listening to the letter, we're going to stop and take some notes, okay? So be listening to see what does Mrs. Davis say we should write down. All right, here is our letter. Okay, it says, "Dear class, hi, my name is Mia. I am from New York City, NYC. It is an urban community. Urban communities are very crowded and noisy because there are a lot of people here. If you notice here on the side, I have a picture of New York City because that's where she's from, New York City. You can see that it's crowded. That means there's a lot of people. You can see how close they are to each other and how even how close the buildings are. And you can see this girl going like, oh my goodness, because it is crowded or it is noisy, right? Okay. Let's keep going. Well, actually, I want us to stop there. Let's write some words. We know that it's crowded in an urban community. So on your piece of paper, you can write the word crowded. I'm going to put number 1 and I'm going to put crowded. So if you see on my piece of paper, I wrote the word crowded. I can also say that it can be noisy. So I'm going to write number 2. It's noisy. And it says it on the screen. It is noisy. Okay? Now let's keep going. All right. Where I live, I'm close to my family and I live in an apartment. Where I live, I'm close to everything. Stores, supermarkets, and parks are often in walking distance. I even walk to school. Many people in my town get around by walking. Most don't even need cars. Some other ways we get around include the subway, buses, and taxis. I guess we have a lot of transportation options. Okay, so let's think here. A lot of people who live in cities or urban communities, they live in apartments. So we can write number 3 is apartments. They live in apartments. Apartments. So we can write the word apartments. And then we also heard that people get around by riding the subway and taxis and walking. So for number 4, we can write taxis, subway, and walking. So let me show you what that looks like on my paper. I just wrote the word subway, comma, taxis, commas, and walking. Okay? So that's what you can write on your piece of paper, because we know people in urban communities a lot of times will walk places, will take a taxi, or a subway or a bus, and taxis. I think I said that. Taxis, walking, buses, or subways, right? Okay, let's keep going. On my way to school, I passed by tall buildings called skyscrapers. Skyscrapers can have over 100 floors. They are much taller than my apartment building, which has 35 floors. There are also many museums and stadiums where I go on field trips to see my favorite sports team. Okay, I love living in my urban community because I never have to travel far distances to get to anything. I hope you can come visit soon. Your pen pal, Mia. So if you heard at the very end, she said when she's walking to school, she can see the skyscrapers. Those are like super tall buildings. You can think about our city of Columbus, and when you go downtown, you see those tall buildings, those skyscrapers. And then you can also see stadiums. A lot of times in the city, in the urban communities, you'll have stadiums for football and all kinds of different sports. So these are some things that you might see. I'm going to write the last thing we're going to write is skyscrapers. So number 5, they have skyscrapers. They call it that because it's almost like they can touch the sky or scrape the sky. All right, friends, I hope that this gives you a better idea of what an urban community looks like. On your paper, it should look something like mine. We have this building and on the top it says urban, and then we have the words crowded, noisy, apartments, taxis, subways, walking, and skyscraper. These are the words that should be on your paper. Okay, now that we've learned a little bit about what urban communities look like, you guys can go ahead and take a picture of this on Seesaw. And then we'll be learning about the other types of communities and what's different about urban communities from other communities, okay? So like I said, go on to Seesaw, take a picture of what you made, and you'll be done. Can't wait to see your drawing and then your note-taking that you did. I hope it matches mine.